Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today it is May wrap-up time, and apparently May was the month of books with red spines because almost all of the books that I read have red spines, or red on the spine. What's up with that? Okay, so let's talk about these books. So the first book that I finished this month was The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee, and I was really excited about this book. This was one of those that I heard about on Book Riot and that I just was super excited about the premise, and I had heard really great things. The review that the Poptimus did is fantastic and it made me even more interested in it. I don't want to say the book let me down a little bit, but I feel like maybe my expectations were a little too high. And also I think the fact that I don't really care about opera is also a reason why I didn't love it like I think some people did. So basically it's the story of a woman who, she's this famous opera singer, and then one night she is greeted by a man who has a book that he wrote, and he wants it to be made into an opera, and he wants her to star in it. Well, then she finds out that the story of this opera is actually the story of her life, and so then she goes on this sort of like mission to figure out who betrayed her and told her story to this man, because she says there are only 4 people who could have told the story, and one of those people is dead. And so it's really interesting in the fact that it's like, it goes back into different portions of her life, and so it kind of jumps around as she is sort of trying to figure out if it's certain people. So she'll go to take the book to a certain person, and then we'll learn the story of how they were involved, like how that person was involved with her life, and so then it'll tell the different stories. And so it jumps from present back to the past, and it jumps around a lot, and there are points where that becomes confusing because it's not done in a way that like it puts a date above it. Sometimes it jumps like paragraph to paragraph and there's not even a page break, and so sometimes that can be a little bit confusing in the book. Overall it was a really good story and it was interesting, but to me I thought going in it was going to be more mysterious than anything, and it was really more like a historical fiction about this woman's life, just sort of told through kind of a investigative way, but not really. It basically was just a story of this woman's life. So it was interesting, and if you do like opera, then you'll probably get more enjoyment out of this just purely because of that. For me, the opera part was just sort of like, okay, whatever. So there's that. So then the second book that I read was Rites by Hannah Kent, and this book and Queen of the Night I read during the Book Buddy-a-thon. So I do already have a wrap-up of that, a wrap-up with these in it, but I'm still going to go through them. So Rites by Hannah Kent, I really enjoyed this. This I buddy read with Jackie Kate, and this is a story about the last woman to be publicly executed in Iceland. So you know going into it that she's executed, but the story itself is just beautifully told. The writing is so rich and wonderful, and just like the relationships and the things that happen in this family that she is staying with are really interesting, and just her story is fascinating, and you just get so attached to the characters. And so I really, really, really enjoyed this. This is probably one of my favorite books that I read this month. Alright, so then I picked up An Island of Our Own by Sally Nichols, and this is like a middle grade book. I actually started this during the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, so I've been reading this for a while, but I just finished it this past month. And basically this is a story of a girl named, actually I don't remember her name, but basically it's a little girl who is kind of like middle school age, and then her younger brother and her older brother, and they are orphans, and her older brother is 18, and so he is their legal guardian, and they're pretty kind of poor in Britain, and they basically are relying off his wages as a waiter and the foster care money that they get. And then their aunt dies, their really, really rich aunt dies, and they find out that they have been left something in her will, but nobody knows where that something is. And this aunt was kind of kooky and a little strange. She had, before she died, she gave the little girl a photo album with a bunch of pictures in it, but the pictures are just like weird things. And so this is a whole book about them kind of like figuring out the mystery of these pictures and trying to find that inheritance that was left to them. And so it was really interesting, but I don't know. I kept almost DNFing this book because I feel like it's obviously geared towards a younger audience, and it was just all right. So then I finished The Fall of Poppies, and this is a selection of short stories by a bunch of historical fiction writers, and all the stories revolve around the First World War and Armistice Day, and it was okay. So I didn't love this, but I didn't dislike it. There were some stories that I loved more than others. I really liked, I think it was Jennifer Robison's story. Let me look. Yeah. No, Jessica Brockmull. So I really liked Jessica Brockmull's story in this, and I had never heard of her, so I definitely want to check out more of her stuff. I did enjoy, of course, Lauren Willig's, and I enjoyed Beatrice Williams' story, which is good because I have some of her books that I want to get to. But there were a few of these that fell flat for me. For the most part, they were good, and I did review each one of these as I read them on my Goodreads, so I'll link that below so that you can check out how I felt about the individual ones if you're interested. But it was different for me, and I did enjoy it. And then this one, my customary reading Animorphs book. This is the 6th one. It's from Jake's perspective, and this is the one where one of our Animorphs becomes a controller. So that's interesting. So yeah, just great stuff. Love reading these, and I'm on to the next one now. So then my BookTuber Recommends book was Me Before You, and Burial Rites was also a BookTuber Recommends book. But this one was recommended to me by Katie from The Book Wanderer, and I actually really enjoyed this. So I was very hesitant to pick this up, and I kind of avoided it. And I mentioned in, I think my Friday Reads video that, or one of my videos, I mentioned that I was a little spoiled for like the plot, not the actual ending or anything, by the trailer on YouTube, but it also made me want to read it. And so I was happy when my hold came up about the same time that I saw that trailer. And so then I really enjoyed this. I'm not even going to try to describe this because I'm pretty sure everybody knows what it's about, and if not, then go into it blind, because I wanted to go into it blind, and then that didn't happen. But it is a really sweet story, and it made me laugh out loud, and it made me sob like a child. I sat on my couch at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday just crying. So much crying. And now my husband's reading it, and we're gonna go see the movie, so I am glad I read this. So the next, I did finish Knives and Ink, which is a book that I was sent by Bloomsbury for review, and I will be talking about this a little bit more closer to the review date, or the release date, which is in, hold on, it's in October. And this is a story, or like basically a coffee table book about chefs and their tattoos and the stories behind them. And so it's gonna have some really pretty artwork in it, and I am super excited to see the finished copy of it with all the beautiful color tattoos. And then the other cool thing about this book is that it does have some recipes from some of the chefs, and there were some recipes in here that I would definitely try. They weren't too complicated or anything, so I thought that was really cool. So I do look forward to the finished copy to see what it's going to look like, and I'm going to have to look up the other one, which is called Pen and Ink. So yeah, this is good stuff. And then the last one that I finished was Moss Volume 2, or Mouse, I'm not sure which way to pronounce that, but Volume 2, I got this on interlibrary loan, and it was incredible. First volume is great and heartbreaking and just so thought-provoking, and this is even more so. There were portions where I just got so sucked in that I just was not even paying attention to my surroundings, and it hits you pretty hard because it's definitely rough. If you don't know, Moss is the story of Art Spiegelman's dad. It's a graphic memoir, and it's about his and his wife's time in during Nazi Germany. The first volume is sort of leading up to when they were captured and sent to Auschwitz, and so this one covers his time in Auschwitz, and it's rough. It's definitely rough. Like there is some crazy honesty in here that it'll hit you pretty hard. So I did really enjoy this, and I think I am gonna end up buying the it's called the Complete Moss. I'm gonna end up getting that just for my collection because I just thought it was incredible, and I definitely want to have it because it's something I think is a really great learning book for anybody who wants to see more about this time in history. Alright, so those are the books that I read in May, and there were so many of them, and like I said, it was like the Red Spine book month. I did not plan that, it just happened. I don't really know why, but I did read some great things in the month of May, and I have already started some great things for the month of June, and so I hope you guys had a great reading month in May, and I would love to hear what your favorite book that you read in May was. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Bye!